Beautiful.
Cool.
Stable
okay.
feels like a final approach course.
There's 60. There's my descent power to idle.
Right on. And once you get into the stall, Rebekah, I just want you holding the full elevator back pressure, okay? Using your feet to manage the left and right turns. And if you lose it, then get yourself out of it, of course. Cool. Hold the back. You got it. You can use 2 hands on the back if you need to. More right rudder. A lot of right rudder.
Ooh,
it's hard. It's hard to get it out of it once it starts, right?
See that.
So now go ahead and recover. Get yourself out of it. But you'll see.
Oh, no.
So you're 1,200 feet. So in the bank, you're losing a little bit more. But you still did have some control of the airplane, right? It's not like you're immediately like flipping upside down and in a spin and dying. So again, it's hopefully giving you a little bit more confidence in your ability to control the airplane in slow speeds. Like, okay, let's now go into a falling leaf power on stall.
Okay.
Okay. So based on what you've kind of learned today, pitch attitude manipulates how much it's going to come down on you. What's the best way to get into this one? Is this an aggressive entry or a very easy entry? Like
easy.
Slow, yeah, for sure. Otherwise, you're going to have that nose drop down on you, and you're not going to be able to maintain it. So here, I would slow down to the slow speed. I'm going to let you try this one without any demo.
And I'm slowing down to that.
BX. This is going to require a lot of activity on the rudder, okay?
Forward.
And right here usually just requires a little bit more for it to actually kick over. There you go. There you go. Okay, and then you can go and just relax that back pressure. Harder power on stall-wise.
It's like the controls I were putting in, then the next thing would happen.
Yep. Yep. And so that right there is kind of to expose the risk of a bad power on stall, right?
Okay.
Bad power on stall, you're close to the ground, and now you can only go back and forth like 3 times before you lose it.
Yeah.
And now you're upside down in a spin, right? So that's partially the reason I train my power on stalls with a lot of rudder movement. Can I demo that?
Yeah.
My flight controls.
Flight controls?
Oh yeah, they're no factor. So when I teach power on stalls, one of the best things that I was ever taught was to be active enough on the rudders, and I may have showed you this already in our training together, is you note here, right? So we're in coordinated flight. You see where the nose is pointed. Well, if I use my rudders and I kick that nose left and right of center, I'm averaging center, right? And I'm in full control and I'm thinking about my feet. So here we go for our power on stall, and immediately I'm just going to twitch the feet back and forth a little bit. And down into that. Bigger movements are required, a lot more right rudder than left rudder. You see how that activity, you can actually maintain the falling leaf stall, but you see how like require it active. That's what I want to see from you.
Wow, okay,
And not today, but like in general, like when you're teaching your students, it's kind of with that precision of understanding like, okay, I don't need to hold this the whole time. I just need to get the nose going the other direction, and then I need to go back to a more neutral position. I'll give you the flight controls. Your flight controls. Again, not expecting perfection. It's more just that activity throughout the whole time. Which will save your students so much heartache and scariness. I want your students to be comfortable stalling the airplane on their solo flights. That's the level in which you need to teach them to. It's like they're not ready to stall the plane on their own. They're kind of not ready to solo because like it's not true. I'm not actually saying that, but that's kind of the feeling I have internally. Like if they're scared of this plane still, it's like how are they going to feel when you're not there? They're not going to do anything on their own. And here immediately you're going to need some right rudder. So really just thinking about where center is on that nose. How do you know where center is? That feels about good. You know, ailerons are neutral. It becomes a lot more obvious once you slow down.
More right rudder.
Just more right, more right, more right. There you go. Once you stall, it becomes a lot more. There you go. Oh! Almost! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there, though. Good job. It's tough in a 172 because the moment the nose comes down, you do kind of recover.
I kind of forgot about this and thought about my rudders.
But yeah, that's the essence of it. So I think that's making more sense. Makes sense to you, hopefully. Not more sense. I think you already understood that. It's more putting into practice and going through those motions again. Let's try one more power on stall, you flying. Let's have you do an aggressive one,
Okay.
but using the more active feet.
Okay.
Okay. Seeing if that feels better for you too. Because really, I also want you to eventually I figure you'll do pre-solo checks, mock check rides. Like the future instructor you're going to be is doing that type of stuff. So I want you sitting here and being like, oh, I see they're pitching up in the aggressive manner, and then being comfortable letting them do that, knowing you can get yourself out of that scenario, right? That's really what I want from you.
Okay, cool. So more aggressive and the same leaf thing?
No, we're not going to do the leaf. We're going to normal recovery, but I want you using your feet like it is the falling leaf. Then just recover.
Oh yeah, I was recovering. Okay.
Oh my goodness. I like it though. I like that you're thinking. You're just playing. You do you. I'm not gonna. I like it.
Okay, cool.
You understand it?
I do.
Feeling good? Sweet. Can you show me what you do with your students for the landing configuration?
Yeah.
So beam, and you don't need to make the turns. It's mostly, I just want to see like your timing of airspeed to flap settings and pitch attitude.
Yeah.
And I guess so that we're on the same page, I am asking you to do that while we're out in the practice area to be more efficient, so we don't have to do a whole lap in the pattern just for me to see that
Excellent.
aspect.
I did not know that.
It's all good. I kind of.
Okay. So I'm a beam the 1,000 footers.
Perfect. Cool.
Do you want me to actually do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see what you like to use as a sight picture outside the front.
Okay, so carb heat on, throttle to 1700. Don't lose any altitude here, so keep level.
Okay.
We're gonna slow to the white arc and put in 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you can relax the nose, start your descent, and it should be at 75 knots. You want to see a greater distance from the horizon, do the cowling, and hold that sight picture.
Okay.
Okay, once we've lost about 200 feet and we're 45-degree angle, then you're gonna do your base turn.
Totally, and you don't need a turn.
Okay.
Again, this is just that
Beautiful.
timing.
We're gonna do 2 or 3 more seconds of flaps. And then that should give us 70 knots.
Okay.
I like how my descent rate is looking.
And then turn final.
1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to add a little bit of back pressure for that 65, keeping that sight picture.
And you're adding the back pressure because if you didn't, the nose would go down more?
Correct.
Why is that?
Because my trim, I'm not trimmed for this.
It's also partially you're going slower, right?
Yeah.
So there's less airflow, but also as you slow down, the RPM tends to go down. Did you make that power reduction?
Yeah, no.
Right? So like initially that 1700 RPM is going to be fine, but once they've slowed down, now there's more drag on the prop, so it's going to slow the prop down just a little bit. And so that can also cause a reduced effectiveness of your elevator, requiring more back pressure. You're absolutely right. You need more back pressure for sure.
Because
right?
you wouldn't adjust that with power, or would you to get back to 17?
Well, only if required, right? Power is always required on base and final for me. 1700 or as
altitude.
required for your descent rate and altitude. So that's beautiful. I love seeing that. That's what I want to see. Airspeed, that looked like it worked out fantastic. I do think 65 is a little fast.
For normal landings?
Again, it just makes that landing a lot harder for them. I would teach at 80 and that would create its own headaches,
wild.
right? So it's mostly trying to figure out where's the happy zone, and that's something amongst instructors I want to ask everyone what they think also. For me, 60 was always the thing. 65 if you're scared of the student. But remember, 65 isn't necessarily going to make it easier or less scary. It's going to prevent a stall, but it's going to make it hard for them to actually control. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, my flight controls. My flight controls.
1741 Zulu. Wind variable at 04.
Variable at 4. Okay, we have 1 in crosswind.
It looks like it, yeah.
Reload traffic, Skaka 9621 Victor, 3 miles to the northwest. We're going to enter on a 45 to the left down 1 runway 35. Reload. Oh, he is fast. All right, I have him in sight. No factor.
He's got 130 knots on downwind now.
All right, 1,000 footers, 1,700 RPM, carb heat on, flaps 10 degrees. I have always done that. Carb heat on, then power is probably the better way to go about it, but I've always done power then carb heat.
And you're still alive?
Yeah. It just makes it one more action because I then have to reset the throttle for 1,700 RPM. Sometimes I'll pull it to 19.
Yeah, then a little bit later.
Exactly. I'm looking at Yeah, I'm looking a little slow here, but I'm also trying to give myself time. For me, on my short field landings, I will be fully configured by the end of the base leg. So I'll be at my final approach speed, and I'll be at my flat configuration, or landing configuration. Greenwood traffic sky 21 Victor, turn left base, runway 35, touch and go Greenwood. All right, I don't feel low, so I'm gonna immediately put flaps in. That's the only time I wouldn't put flaps in is if I felt low. Feeling stabilized, feel like I'm in an updraft, so I did make a power reduction. Final approach is clear, flaps down to 30, and now we're slowing down to my final approach speed, which I'm not entirely sure what that's going to be. I'll probably end up being like 5 knots fast of it while I turn final. Just thinking about it today. We don't weigh that much, so. Grillo traffic sky 21 Victor, turn base to final 35, touch and go Grillo. And this is where shallower banks being this slow also helps. I'm not too slow at the moment. You need to slow down. What you'll find though, once I'm on final approach and I have a good sight picture, I kind of left myself high on purpose to demonstrate this.
Okay.
Because what we're actually looking for here is to be slow enough where we will get this more aggressive descent angle. And you'll feel it. You're like, okay, we're high. We're going to overshoot this point.
Yes.
But eventually, I'm going to get slow enough if this updraft goes away. Pitch up like that, which would be super uncomfortable with the student, right?
For sure.
But the moment I lower the nose, see what happens. I can make the numbers almost at this point, right?
Wow.
So now my control of where I land is a lot more in terms of my throttle. And my airspeed, I'm at 47 knots.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just making real subtle throttle changes. You see how it works?
Wow.
It's kind of easy in some ways, but there's a lot more activity and judgment calls that you're going to need to make.
Greeley, traffic sky 2 and Victor, left base, runway 35, touch and go. Greeley Wub. So do you put in a full 30 here, or do you wait till the end?
On base. So like base,
like 20 here?
20, and then once I can judge my flight path, and as long as again I'm not low, then I'll put the full 30 on base before my turn. And eventually, and I'll be slowing down. I won't get down to my 47, but I'll be working my way down there maybe.
Final is clear. Okay, I'm so fast.
Okay, good. So flaps 30.
Oh, right.
And watch that pitch attitude. Your eyes are kind of watching that pitch because you saw where a power off stall occurs out there, right?
Yep.
So you can get into that realm because you do have power still. You're not doing a power off. You need to slow down. You need to pitch up first here. Don't worry about your height. Once you slow down, you'll have a lot more time to get there.
Okay. Greeley traffic, Skyhawk 2 and Victor, final runway 35, touch and go Greeley.
This is going to be epic. Okay. Power back a little bit more. Hold that, hold that, hold that. You're too fast. Now we're talking, so lower the nose now, and you'll feel that descent rate come in. So your job is to manage this, right? So power in if you need a little bit of extra. If you're not going to make it, I should say. But you've got to control the pitch when you add the power.
I don't want to get fast.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's this balancing act. There you go.
Alpha Papa, would you mind extending your downwind?
You feel that descent rate?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Welcome. Thank you.
Good. You're a little slow, so keep that power in. Don't pitch up anymore. Power, 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 power. Hold that power out. Chop the power. Pull, 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 pull. You see how close you end up getting? By going slow, you have so much more control of the timing because you could have gotten into ground effect. And the moment you realize I'm not going to make my point, I'm going to land too short, a little pop of power, and it would have glided you a little bit further. Really nicely done for your first attempt on that.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it again.
You feel how squirrely it is in those moments too a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So remember the activity you had on the rudders there, right? So it's a little bit more gentle.
Okay.
I'm not asking you to control it in that manner. It's more
Greeley traffic, Sirius 72.
remembering
extended final runway 35, touch and go, Greeley.
Remembering that when you add the aileron in that moment to correct for the wing drop, that you're adding the rudder also in that direction, because you recognize how important the rudder was in the falling leaf stall, and you are kind of falling leaf. Yeah. Right? You're 2 knots above stall. True. You're kind of falling leaf in those moments.
Okay, cool.
Whenever you do make an aileron or a bank adjustment, you're going to have to pitch the nose down a little bit to make sure you have enough energy.
I see.
But when you do pitch down, you'll accelerate. So when you take the bank back out, you've got to pitch back up in that moment too.
I see.
So
okay.
and that's just the energy management part of it. You have to stay slow to keep the drag high to stay going slow. The moment you lose that, you build up so much energy, and now it's kind of not going to work anymore.
Okay.
Because you're aiming for the point. You're not aiming prior to the point. Cool. Okay.
Okay. That was like so much effort for a landing.
Can I show you one thing here? I'm not going to do it. My flight controls.
Your flight controls.
So like when you are on that final approach course,
to the north.
making like those distance judgment calls, especially since you're learning now, do this.
Okay.
Okay. Be active on the throttle. It's like moving your feet back and forth to center, right? It's giving you that, and
with
you're just
vertical.
And it gives you the chance to make so many more decisions in our practice here. And you'll just get better and better if you start there. Your flight controls.
My flight controls.
Your flight controls.
Greeley, traffic 0721 Alpha Papa is turning left. Cross runway 35, Greeley.
I think I want to get slower, faster on this one too. And like what you said, pitch for it first before the power adjustment.
Yes, speed is getting slow first is important. Gives you more time to make adjustments in the future.
Greeley, traffic sky to Victor, left base, runway 35, Greeley.
It's also a style of flying that makes it less about where, like being consistent with where you are or having those reference points exactly right, and just making more judgment calls on your way in.
Okay, that's helpful to hear.
No. And we get so used to flying the lines over the ground. It's like, actually, you can turn whenever you want to turn. It's just you got to make adjustments.
And like how will that affect your final?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so this airspeed for base feels better.
Okay, good. I do feel slightly on the lower side, which will just mean we have to drag it in. Might mean you also hold off on the 30 degrees of flaps until we're on final approach.
Okay.
Hope you don't mind me opening the window.
Greeley, traffic sky to Victor, final runway 35, touch and go Greeley.
All right, now we're at our higher altitude. You have your speed down. Pretty good. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Isn't that wild?
Okay.
But you have to be very, the moment you gain 5 knots, it goes away.
It did, I felt that.
And updrafts will screw you over. So being authoritative on the controls and being like, nope, I'm fast, I gotta slow down, it'll be very important. Good. Don't overcorrect that down. At the moment you do that, you gotta chop that power.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh man, I lost it right there.
Yeah. It's okay, you see how close you can still get though when you're like, I lost it? First, we do have someone 12 o'clock.
Are they doing downwind?
Tough to tell. Oh, you got it?
Or no, you go for it.
Reload traffic sky 21 Victor, turn left crosswind, runway 35, close traffic, reload.
35, Greeley.
Reload traffic sky 21 Victor, left crosswind 35, reload. I would turn now, I have them in sight.
7348, we're to the left 360 for you guys for space, Greeley.
Thank you.
Sorry, 1 for hotel.
Oh, I'm going to try to slow down so I can fit this in. Will 10 Alpha be a problem? That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think so, but it's a good thought. I don't think so.
Alpha, left, final, 35 Greeley, touch and go?
Touch and go, so probably not. The challenge is if you slow down here, you'll be going slow to start with, which isn't normal, which added challenge.
Right?
Beautiful.
Shake things up.
Can you do a PowerPoint at 80 and from slow flight?
Oh yeah, this will be perfect.
Yeah. Good call. Good call on the slowdown. I think the reason I started doing the fast one out of just fun was because that guard base is right in the wrong spot. Like you always want to fly over it on your PowerPoint 80. So the fact that we haven't descended at all yet is probably going around. I think going around always works out better. I went on the other side of it before, and I constantly have to do like forward slips to the ground.
Yeah. Greeley, traffic sky 2 Victor, early base to final, power off 180, runway 35, Greeley.
That will be a full stop on this one.
Alpha 5 will be departing the pattern to the west, Greeley.
I wanted to do this again for a long time.
Happy to give you the chance. Are you going to the numbers or the thousands?
1,000.
You're like, I'm way too high. I have to go over the thousands. And the natural tendency is for most people to pitch down in this moment because they got to get down, but that speed is the thing that'll gonna hurt. You might have done it perfectly though. 30 degrees of flaps.
Google traffic.
Come on. Come on.
Left.
No! I was feeling so confident.
I miss the fact that you had the full 30 in there. That was. You want to try one more time? We have time.
Do we have time?
But we have time. One
I'll
more
do
though.
just one more.
Yeah, that's totally good.
So you're gonna do a YouTube channel. Will some of the flights be instruction? Or will it just be like travel?
One approach runway
That's
35. We got.
Good question. I might
Will be behind you,
do the instruction one for the flight school and then just do my own for my own.
Yeah.
I think there is an instruction side that I would like to do. Just like small things like what we just discussed today.
Yeah.
Not the standard, but even the standards, like how to fix your steep turns, I think is a good one, right?
Yeah.
Like easy. Are you doing Power 180 again?
Yeah.
All right.
Greeley traffic Skyhawk 2 and Victor early base to final, simulated power off 180, Greeley, runway 35.
A little bit of a different wind pattern today.
Greeley, Skyhawk 73481, turning left crosswind for 35. Greeley.
Do you put flaps in immediately?
Yeah, just 10 degrees. If you're about to ask why, what I was told, I have not processed it or thought through it. I'm going to do that today. And I will come back with an answer.
It's all good. You're already picking up on all the instructor cues. This is sick. If you
I'm at power. I don't even think I would have made it.
It was a weird wind. Maybe.
Yeah.
We have definitely a tailwind. Maybe a loft. It's a headwind on our downwind, which is making it so it took so much longer to get to past the guard base.
Greeley traffic Skyhawk 2 and Victor clear runway 35 at Charlie 3, Greeley.
Sweet.